Hey guys, Majik Mike here, and welcome to the channel. Today, I'm going to be discussing my falling out with another YouTuber. So, a bit more of a serious video than my usual content. So, no fancy intros or outros or flash or pizzazz or anything like that. So, just going to get right into it and air out the drama. Now, I'm not going to name who this person is directly, so to protect their identity for privacy reasons, I'm going to refer to this person as Shawn. So basically what I did is, on my computer, I typed out everything that I wanted to talk about, everything I wanted to say, just to make sure that I wouldn't miss any important points or anything like that. So I'm just going to be referring to the notes here as I talk about everything in today's video. So before getting into the drama, I just want to start off by saying that the goal of this video is not to bash this person and drag them through the mud and go on and on about how awful a person they are, as I don't hold personal grudges, but rather hopefully maybe a bit of a wake-up call that could maybe help prevent more drama from this person in the future. Now, he has since apologized to me several times, and I have publicly accepted and forgiven this person. And even though I have chosen not to associate with him ever again or talk to him ever again, I have at the same time defended this person many times against trolls, as I don't control trolling or harassing of any kind, whether it's whether it be to a friend or an enemy. So a big part of this is I'm a believer in karma, right? So I know I wouldn't appreciate anyone unnecessarily harassing or trolling me. So it would be hypocritical of me to think that, but then think it's okay for anybody else to receive the same treatment, you know? Like, I could have held a grudge and took it, you know, to that point of taking it so personal that I decided to jump on the bandwagon of also relentlessly trolling this person and harassing this person. But then what does that say about me? That just wouldn't be right. So I like to look at things from the point of view of what if it was me? What if the roles were reversed, you know? And whether it's deserved or not, you know, I never condone any kind of harassing, trolling, especially the kind that takes it a step too far and it turns into full-blown illegal stalking, you know, and we do have people like that in this community, unfortunately, and we just got to deal with them as they come along. So one of the main things I want to address as well as debunk is, since the falling out, Shawn has said many times on his lives that he would like for me to give him another chance to make things right and be friends again. But there is one thing that he has said repeatedly that is not true. Now, I will give him the benefit of the doubt here that maybe he's misremembering things. So I don't want to put this in terms of, oh, he's lying about this and lying about that. I'm a very open-minded, fair, and forgiving person, you know, even to someone that I have decided to not want to talk to anymore, you know. And I think most people could vouch for me on that. And that, again, just no matter who it is, it could be the most hated person in the world. If somebody is saying something untrue about that person, regardless of what you feel about them, that I will come to that person's defense and be like, no, that's a lie, or that's not true what you're saying about that person. Whether they deserve it or not is a whole other issue. You know, I just like to be open, honest, and as truthful as possible. Because again, I believe in karma. I would hope that someone would do the same for me if I was in a jam and I was being accused of doing something wrong, and there is someone else out there who doesn't like me for whatever reason, but would step into my defense. Like, I hate that guy, Majik Mike, but I know he didn't do that, or he's not the type to ever do that, you know, etc., etc. All right, back to Shawn. He has said many times that he thinks it's unfair that I won't give him another chance, since this all happened over just one argument, which is simply not the case, which has prompted me to make this video and set the record straight for everyone's benefit. All right, so I'm just going to set everything up, put everything into context in as little time as possible, and so this doesn't turn into a 2 or 3 hour video. So let's get down to it. So I met Shawn through another fellow YouTuber, and we started talking and became fast friends. And later even got a chance to meet and hang out in person with him and some other YouTubers, which was pretty cool. It was a fun hangout, and was looking forward to more hangouts with him and this group in the future, you know, and yeah. So after that, we stayed in contact on Facebook and talked often. He called and talked to me for several days just to talk and see what I was up to, how I was doing, you know, and all that, which was cool. So one day on a call, we came to a disagreement on something, which led to a fight. Okay, so he has also since also admitted to everything that I'm saying anyway, so I'm not exactly revealing any new revealing information, you know, or shocking information or anything like that. So, and we all know that. So he was telling me about which trolls in the community to avoid, to which I basically said, you know, I appreciate the advice, but, you know, I'm smart enough to judge on my own who I choose to associate or not associate with, which he took a bit of offense to and said, you know, I just need to trust what he is saying and to just take his advice. So the more I kind of pushed back on this, he just got angrier and angrier until he eventually just blew up on me and then proceeded to hang up on me. All right. So this was incident or fight number 1, you know. Not that we're keeping track or anything like that, but just to point out, it was just way more than one thing, you know, that led me to decide, you know what, I'm not so sure about this person. I don't think I want to associate with this person ever again, you know, especially someone that we only hung out once, barely knew each other, we're not really close friends yet, and, you know, he could easily blow up on me like that. I mean, it was kind of concerning. So, of course, at this point, I'm thinking, that will be the last time we talk. But I was still open for an apology at that point. So at that time, I was willing to give him the benefit of the doubt by hoping that after he'd maybe cool off, that he would call to apologize, which I was kind of expecting because that's how he would communicate with me, by calling me on Facebook time and time and time again. So I assumed, okay, once he realizes, you know, he was wrong for blowing up on me, that once again he would call so he could, you know, basically tell me face to face, you know, that he's sorry and that he apologizes. Well, he did apologize, but he didn't call me. Instead, he messaged me this just a little bit after yelling at me and hanging up on me. So after the hang up, this is like a couple hours later or whatever. So this was his message to me. He says, I'm going to finish my movie and then take a shower and later go live so you can stream. I will let you know when I am done. Sorry for getting frustrated. Please don't say anything about our conversation on your live. So now I'm thinking, like, really? You had no issues ever with calling me before, but now all of a sudden, now I only can get an apology in message form? So again, that's just my thinking at the time, and I'm pretty sure most of you could probably, you know, relate. So this didn't sit right with me. So now we have the blow up, and now we're just talking in message form all of a sudden, you know. So I decided not to contact him after that, so that maybe he'd get the hint to call me and apologize, since he had no issues with calling me before. You know, so again, give him the benefit of the doubt. One great thing or trait about me is I have patience. I like to give people time. I like to give people at least 24 hours, you know, when I, like, no matter who it is, for personal or business, and I contact somebody, I like to give them at least 24 hours before trying to message them again. I'm not that type of guy that will message you on any forum, any platform, and then an hour later type in question marks. And then, you there? And then, what's going on? Did you get my first message? Like, all, you know what I'm saying, you just, you know, set yourself up for making yourself look crazy, making yourself look like a psycho. Just in general, doesn't matter. Just a general rule, you know, give anybody at least 24 hours to respond, to do a task, whatever it is, right? So, okay. So I waited a day, then 2 days, then 3 days, still no call. So I realized, okay, he probably needs a bit of a push. So I finally did message him and I said, so I think I deserve a more formal apology aside from just a Facebook message for the way you blew up on me the other night when we talked on the phone. So had he called me right then, right after that message, and apologized, everything would be cool. But instead, he sends me this message. The next time we hang out, I will give you a formal apology. I promise. Like, really? The next time we hang out? When? In 2 weeks? 3 months? Who knows, right? Totally wrong answer. So he's not showing, at this point, any initiative to fix things right away, and is making it even harder to be open to even forgiving him at this point. You know, so, and the reason I like to be so patient is so that, you know, I can't be to blame for, oh, you didn't give me enough time, you didn't give me enough chance, and you didn't give me enough time. So after 3 days, and then kind of hinting and basically telling you, you know, if you just call me on the phone like you have been, you know, be a man. Don't run away and trying to get away with just doing it in Messenger. Just call me like before, and everything would be fine. But then to not only basically say, no, I'm not going to do that, but we'll do it later. Like, you're through your actions are showing me, okay, so it's not exactly, it doesn't seem to be priority to you at this point to take care of it, to apologize. I just get the feeling that you want to get as far away from it as possible and let time be the healer, and just, you know, hope that time will wash things away and it won't be as big of a deal as, you know, time goes on. I don't know. So needless to say, I had at that point no initiative or desire myself to talk to him after that. So once again, I didn't respond, as I wasn't going to respond to anything less than a phone call at this point. So then he sent another message later that day asking how I've been. So finally, I think he finally gets the hint, because then that same day he did finally call me to apologize. So here was my chance to also air out my grievances and tell him how I didn't appreciate insulting my intelligence by implying that since I'm new to the community, I am not smart enough to, on my own, to be able to figure out who the bad actors are, trolls, whatever, to which he was already flipping out on me again and asking, are we still rehashing this? Really? We're good. Anything else I can help you with? So, again, you're supposed to be apologizing to me, and part of an apology is listening to the other person tell you, you know, this is, you know, I didn't appreciate how you did this, which upset me, and how you did this and the way you spoke to me. If you're already being defensive and you're supposed to be the one apologizing, that's not good. That's not how an apology works. It should be, you know, you're right, Mike, I'm sorry for saying that. I'm sorry for implying that, or whatever, or I'm sorry you took it that way. I didn't mean it exactly that way, or, you know, to clarify, but not from a defensive, like, really? What are you talking about? Are we rehashing this? Like, is there anything else I can help you with? Like, it was so condescending, and just like, I was in absolute shock, like trying to lead him down the path to doing the right thing, and here we are, like, and he's still trying to defend himself, but he's the one that's supposed to be apologizing. Then he flipped out about what I said about insulting my intelligence by saying that I was saying he was calling me dumb, which I never said. I never said, hey, Shawn, why are you calling me dumb? I never said that. but by what he was saying was making me feel like, not necessarily that I'm dumb, but like kind of naive, or like I don't know what I'm talking about, or I don't know as much as him. Like basically trying to frame it as if like, I've been around longer, I know more than you, so you need to trust what I'm saying or else I'm going to get mad. He was saying, I never called you dumb, and then he started really going off and started cursing me out. I never said you were dumb. I can do this all night, you stupid mother effer, and F you, this, that, and the other. And just started getting really loud. And, and then again, he has admitted to also saying, I think you need to leave the community, and just go do your own thing. I don't think you're a good fit for the community, and blah, blah, blah. And then once again, hung up on me. So, of course, that right there is what made me say, oh no, I'm never talking to that guy ever again. No one talks to me like that, and no one ever has. Not even any of my closest friends, family members, and here's this random guy I've only met in life one time, and goes off on me like that. I'm like, no. Okay, so then he messages me the next day and says, dude, I need some time. I really do. I'm going through so much right now, and you don't want to take my advice, so you could do whatever you want. I'll talk to you in a couple of weeks. Again, with the, we'll deal with this later. We'll push it off. I don't care about this right now. That you're just making things, digging the hole even deeper and deeper and deeper over, what could have been just one blow up and then one phone call, I'm sorry, and then owning up to everything, me telling you what I didn't appreciate about what you said, and taking responsibility for it and not getting defensive about it, and we wouldn't even be here. So he also says, I don't want to talk about it on stream because the whole community doesn't need to know about this. Worried about my brother right now, which I feel bad for, brother having cancer. I'm not worried about some YouTube drama BS. My brother just had cancer and just had surgery. So I already apologized to you. I don't know what else to say. No. I really like this dropped, or we could talk about it some other time, but I'm going through all this stuff, dude, and I never questioned your intelligence. I never called you dumb. I know that. So there's no need for you to think, or I never implied or said anything about your intelligence. That's all I'm going to say for right now, man. I've given you the advice to the community. You can take it, you can leave it, but yeah, I gotta go. I'll call you in a couple of weeks. Really? After the way you talk to me, you're the one who needs a couple of weeks? You need the break from me? And this is what I'm thinking in my head, like, just further and further solidifying why I don't want to talk. Like, wow, no. So once again, needless to say, I am completely beyond done at this point, as I imagine most people would be at this point. So no plans to ever message him again or respond to any of his messages. But folks, it gets even better. If you can believe it, just hang on tight. So 3 days later, I do a live, and I get this message. Dude, I'm not trying to create drama. I just told everybody in Yakov's chat that I was going live next now. I have to wait until you're friggin' done. I told everybody in Yakov's live stream that I was gonna go live next, but it's whatever, dude. So I'm like, really? You're more worried about me going live? Oh, the nerve. Versus doing whatever it takes to make things right and maybe attempt at trying to get me to want to talk to you again at all. And not in 2 weeks, but like more like yesterday. So after that, now he's trying to call me, but now I have no desire or reason to answer whatsoever. But it gets even better than that. So now, since it couldn't be clearer that he was pissed off past the point of no return, and still no attempt to at least write me an apology for everything, seeing that I wouldn't answer his calls, he just keeps doing even more damage. If you can believe it. So, a few days later, when I go live again, In his live, he proceeds to complain about me going live, saying, someone needs to sit Mike down and explain the rules to him because he just doesn't know. Everyone, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, what is wrong with this guy? We're not talking. I'm not talking to him. I'm as done as anyone could ever get. After all that, I'm gonna yell and curse and scream at you, but then send you messages saying it's whatever. I apologize. You just need to drop it. I'll call you in a couple weeks. To now this. So I am now realizing I need to make it perfectly clear to him that we're no longer friends. So he'd stop bringing me up. So now I'm realizing I need to make it clear to him that we're no longer friends. So he'd stop bringing me up. So again, if this was just some other rando person and YouTube wasn't involved and the community wasn't involved, I would have never messaged him ever again and just left it at that. Like, I don't have to explain myself or even say, I'm done with you. Like, you can get the hint when, after several messages and calls or whatever, and I'm not responding, any intelligent person would get, okay, that person's done with me. I really messed up and messed up beyond the point of even being able to apologize and maybe having a chance. I just got to a point of like, okay, I have no choice. I have to spell it out to him and let him know that I'm done. So this is the message I sent to him. I said, wow, you got some real issues. I wouldn't even be replying to you if it weren't for YouTube, as no one talks to me the way you talk to me. Then have the gall to say, I will call you back in a couple of weeks, as you would have already been blocked and I would never talk to you again. I get the feeling that you don't think you have done anything wrong and don't owe me an apology and feel like you can talk to me however you want. As now, even after unfriending you on Facebook, the only thing you were worried about or care about more than yelling at me and treating me like complete crap and trying to fix that, you have some nerve trying to tell me when I can't stream, especially after kicking me out of the community and saying I am not a good fit and need to just go do my own thing. Yet here it is, that's what I'm doing, and then you want to come and complain about me going live after kicking me out of the community. And it was different when I thought we were friends, but not now. I'll only respect friends streams like the other people, you know who you are, and not to mention in one of your videos you did say I can stream whenever, so I guess that was a lie, or maybe just completely forgot you said that. I don't know, but again, not like that matters. Now you can stream whenever I stream and can stream whenever, and I can stream whenever you stream, so don't blame me for you not being able to stream earlier. I wasn't stopping you. So again, I shouldn't have to tell you to never contact me again, but aside from that, all I ask is for you to not mention me or the situation ever again and just drop it all together, as I don't want any drama for me or my channel. So if there's some moniker of remorse in you, you at least owe me that after the way you treated me. If they keep asking in the chats, all you have to say is we realize we didn't get along and are no longer friends, as I know they'll keep asking about it with how they are. But please don't make a whole live or video out of it. So please respect my wishes and not make it worse by making a big thing out of it. So I won't be happy if you force my hand and leave me in a position of having no choice but to lay it all out there. So as long as you stay out of my lives and you do the same, we're good. And once again, don't message me or try to call me ever again. You effed up bad. Then double down on the F up. So we are done, dude. So then he messages me back and says, I will read this after my live. Again, the all-important mighty live. The lives, I mean, you see a theme here. The lives come first, then maybe friends, or maybe it's family, then lives, then friends, then, whatever. I'll read this after my live. I will call you after my live. I'm in the middle of a show right now, but I will read this after. Yeah. Look, man, I've been going through a lot lately and want to make this right. A lot of mistakes where I did F up, and I want to apologize. Please, after my live, though, and let's just talk. And so, of course, with each new live, Shawn would just continue to say and do things that would further ensure I made the right decision to not want to talk to him anymore, including at some point calling me a baby for not giving him a second chance, or continue doing things to other people in the community that were just uncalled for, such as the constant threatening to take both trolls and so-called friends channels down whenever he gets into a tiff, and admitting to asking a friend to troll other people, yet complains about being trolled himself. Another example is calling one of the female members of the community the B word, not once, not twice, but several times during a food challenge of one of the other YouTubers. And the list goes on. Now, the other reason I wanted to make this video is to address the trolls who keep sending pizzas to Shawn's house. And I'm now talking to you, Shawn. As I hate seeing poor innocent drivers constantly losing money at the hands and the expense of the trolls. Okay, Shawn. So here's what you need to do. If you really are tired of it and really want to stop the deliveries, and I know you do, I would if I were you too. So there's no doubt that you want to stop it, right? So obviously you want to stop it. So hopefully you'll listen to what I'm saying, because despite, airing everything out, at the same time, I want to help. I want to hopefully give some advice that maybe you'll take a little bit of that'll actually benefit from you. Because again, as you know, and as you've seen, I defend you when I see you're being wronged, and so I don't hold grudges. So I don't see any reason why I still can't help or offer help, right? So again, stopping the pizza deliveries. Even if it takes a little bit of work, it'll be worth the work. But here's what it is. Okay, as you know, you obviously only get these deliveries when you go live. So obviously the person that is sending the pizzas are sending them when you go live and are watching for you to go live. So, okay, they can see, okay, he's definitely at home. He's doing a live, and they're doing it to interrupt the live and get a reaction out of you and cause drama. Oh, haha, look, he's getting a pizza or whatever. Okay, so here is what you do. You need to do, obviously, more than what you're doing now, because obviously it's not enough. It's not enough to just tell the driver, hey, make sure you tell the manager, whatever, blacklist my address, which of course, keep doing that. So simple. What do? All right, so the first thing you do is about 5 or 10 minutes before you go live, knowing you're going to get the pizzas, call all of the restaurants that you get sent food from the most. Like, you can count on, oh, Domino's, I'm going to get one from Domino's, I'm going to get one from Pizza Hut, I'm going to get one from Papa John's, whatever. Call all the restaurants and tell them the situation. I'm a YouTuber that has a lot of trolls. When I do live streams, the trolls like to call and send pizzas to my house. So I want to try to prevent that from the get-go, giving my name and address and phone number, all the information, so that you could put this information on your list of do not send to, right? And, to get ahead of the problem. And then same for DoorDash. I've heard you say you've contacted DoorDash about also having them blacklist your address. Well, obviously that isn't working either. So call again, and then again and again. And let's say, or try to get to as higher up of a person as you can. But I would say you might just be putting yourself in a position to maybe even to being able to sue DoorDash. Because I would say, be patient. Call them again, but 3 strikes you're out. After like 3 times and you're still getting deliveries, then you need to figure out how you can go about suing them. Talk about hiring a lawyer and call them back a 4th time and let them know, like, okay, I've called and let you know 3 times to blacklist my address. I keep getting deliveries. I'm tired of it. If you don't do something about it, the next time you'll hear from me is going to be from my lawyer. This needs to stop. I shouldn't have to go to this link and call this many times to get my address blacklisted. So there's that, right? And then even better, if you're out and about, whether you're shopping or you're going somewhere, or after hanging out with the guys, on your way home, for any of those restaurants that are on your way home, so you're not going completely out of your way and you're going to be going live later, stop into the restaurant. Talk to somebody, talk to everybody face to face, the drivers, the manager, say, hey, you know, I'm a YouTuber, you know, go through the whole spiel again. I just want to make sure that my address is blacklisted. So now, you know, you might have a driver or two there that either recognizes you or can now see you and recognize you. So that way you've done everything in your power to prevent it. So now if you still get a delivery from that restaurant, now it's more on the restaurant than you. You went in person, you talked to them on the phone right before going live, and you're still getting, you know, you're still getting a delivery. Now, I'm saying that because, again, always prepare for the worst. That still might happen. So, like, for example, you might get that manager who is just so busy that they didn't get a chance to do it or they forgot. You know, human error is a thing. So I'm not saying you might get somebody that just doesn't care at all and is just like, yeah, and then just doesn't, you know, it should not be a problem. So, you know, for a while, you still might get occasional delivery, you know, something that kind of slipped through the cracks, but you just got to stay on it, right? And so in that case, at the very least, when you get the delivery driver that comes to your house, you could say, hey, just so you know, this happens all the time. I literally called your restaurant 20 minutes before this and told them not to send any deliveries to this address, yet here you are, you know. So now you can kind of redirect their anger off of you and more now onto the restaurant and the trolls. So now it's the trolls' fault, and now it's the restaurant fault for not following through. And now you're taking more and shifting the blame more and more off of you. And now you really can't feel bad because you're doing everything you can now to stop it from the get-go. So now the next thing after that is, I would imagine most delivery drivers kind of look out for their own, or drivers know other drivers, and et cetera, et cetera. So I would imagine DoorDash drivers or Uber drivers probably know the regular store drivers and vice versa. So, you know, write up a bunch of slips of paper or cards with your address on them so you have it ready so you don't have to keep them waiting for when they come to the door, and be like, here, please take this to your manager and make sure they blacklist this address, and or give them a stack of them, as well as hand this card to all the other drivers that you know, even DoorDash drivers, so that they could be warned, you know, and knock out and kill 5 birds with 1 stone, and have them pass out your card with the address of do not deliver here. It'll be a waste of time. You won't make the delivery. You won't make any money. You won't make any tip. And that's that. So that's my advice for stopping getting the pizzas. And even though it might take a couple times here and there, eventually all the restaurants will get the hint, will get on board, and you can finally stop all of that altogether from now on. Okay, now when it comes to you having to change your phone number over and over and over again. Here's my advice on that. So obviously we know from past history, you know, I think it's safe to say you changing your number anymore is going to be a complete waste of time, because they're just going to get it again and again and again and again. So we have to think of a different solution altogether that doesn't involve you having to change your number, which is ridiculous. I would never do that. I think I'm correct in assuming you have a Samsung, but I would imagine most phones, regardless of make and model, have the do not disturb feature. And this is something that I discovered not from doing YouTube, but from when I first started getting smartphones and would just get constantly hammered by those stupid robocalls, 2 or 3 calls a day, day after day after day, with the fake AI voices trying to sell you something, or we're coming to arrest you unless you give us money, those kind of scam calls, right? So I discovered do not disturb. Turn it on, of course. But what you can do in your settings is you can have do not disturb set to where there's another button that says, but allow contacts only. So that means that anybody that calls or texts your phone number that is not on your contact list won't notify you. It won't ring your phone. You won't hear it go off or vibrate. It'll go just straight to voicemail. So that should be something that's set and in place already, right? Again, I probably get 5 of those calls per day, but I don't even realize it nor care, you know, and then maybe once a month I'll take a look and then listen to my voicemails, knowing I might get 10 or 15, with 14 of those being those scam calls, and just deleting them all in one go. And then that's that. It doesn't take away from my life whatsoever or affect it in any way. Now, another thing that you can do is when you go in your recent calls, you can click on that number, and on the bottom of the screen, at least on my phone, there's an option that says block number. Hit that and just block the number, and there you go. So whoever's calling and harassing you, they can call all they want to their heart's content, but it's not going to go through. You're not going to even be aware of it, and it'll be one less thing you have to worry about, you know, and that will just infuriate them even more, knowing they have your number and they're calling you, but it's not getting them anywhere. And then you win. That's it. That's all you need. So there you go. Here is my message to Mr. Shawn. As he has said over and over again, he wants me to forgive him. He wants to make things right. He wants to become friends again. And I understand that, and I appreciate that. And like I said, don't hold grudges. And again, you have apologized, and I accept the apology. So, you know, no reason to even really go into anything or rehash anything as far as that goes. And I will say, it seems more and more lately that you have calmed down a little bit and don't lose your temper as often or as much. And again, an important step too is admitting you have a temper, which you have done, and you do admit, yeah, I have a bit of a temper, I have an anger problem, I'm working on it, which is great. But what is not great is something else I noticed is how, you know, even when you're caught up in something and you do something wrong, I don't like how you try to minimize it by also trying to share blame. And it never fails every single time. It's always, oh, I got a little bit miffed, but this person got miffed and that person got miffed. They said things I didn't like. I said things they didn't like. When it's like, no, it's like, if you're the cause of the problem and you get somebody angry, they're reacting out of you being miffed with them in the first place. So they're miffed because of how you just treated them or talked to them or yelled at them, whatever it is. So it's never cool to try and share the blame and minimize what you did. Oh, well, they were bad too. And no, that's not taking full accountability for, you know, what you're doing. And you do that a lot. And even oftentimes you've even said, oh, I don't think it's that bad, or I don't really need that much help. Well, part of, you know, one step towards getting better is to finally admit that, or maybe even say, maybe I am worse than I thought, you know. And there's nothing wrong with doing that, because the sooner that you can maybe realize that and admit to that, you know, you can't fix a problem if you don't recognize you have a problem, you know, and you do. But at the same time, I kind of would like to think that there is enough good in you to want to address it, to admit to it, and to fix it, you know, and not minimize it with, oh, well, we're all not perfect and blah, 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 blah. Well, we're not talking about everybody, or we're talking about you. So again, let's not try and deflect also off onto other people with, oh, they got miffed and I got... That's not good. That's not taking accountability. It's like you're trying to justify whatever it is that you did, you know, whatever. And we can go on and on about that, but we're not going to do that now. And so my final message is this. You want to be friends again, and, you know, yeah, I got to admit, a part of me would like to believe that you can be better, and a part of me would like to give you another chance and, you know, maybe talk and hang out again. So I'm going to put this out there. If you really do, you know, want to, you know, for me to give you another chance with talking to you again and hanging out again, I will say, yes, I am willing to do that and would be willing to do that. But I'm going to leave it up to you and give you a task, Shawn. I'll say this. If you can go an entire week without saying or doing any of those things, you know, that I don't like, that the community doesn't like, then if you can do that, go a whole week without doing anything to upset the community, then I would be willing to talk again. So when I first thought of this idea, I thought about making it a month, but I thought maybe that's a bit too extreme. But we'll make it a week. So, you know, yeah, I've been watching and I will be watching because I'm thinking, you know, maybe in a weird way, you need someone like me that will hold you to account, that won't be afraid to call you out immediately and like, no, Shawn, that's not cool. That's a bad Shawn, bad, and be like, and point out to you whatever it is that you did that's wrong, why it's wrong, and you know, and that's that, and kind of, you know, help put you back in your place, you know. But you definitely need some work. But like I said, I have seen it does seem like you are trying to improve yourself. So, you know, I like to help people more than harm people. So if I could take whatever potential is left and help kind of nudge you in the right direction, maybe motivate you a little bit, inspire you a little bit, you know, maybe we could do some good here. So yeah, that's what I had in my mind for quite a while. So yeah, a full week without, you know, being bad Shawn. So I'll be watching from the shadows, and whenever and maybe part of it, or part of what it is, or what would be helpful if you actually had a list of things that you do that me and most of the community don't like or hate when you do. And maybe if you have this list, and make this list, write it out, type it out, whatever you got to do, have it on your phone in your notes. And maybe it's the first thing that you look at when you first wake up, and the last thing you look at before going to bed, like the do not do list. And you try and work on maybe one a day, one a week, whatever, but like to become more self-aware. And maybe that's what would help, of don't do this, don't do that. So whenever you do one of those things, I'm going to call you out on it and be like, oh, see, add that to the list. Now that's one of the things that makes me not want to give you another chance. One of the things that makes me want to continue to not want to talk to you. So if and when that happens, let's say 4 days into it, and you know, you lose your temper, and you take whatever anger out on, you know, everyone in the chat, whatever it is, I'm going to be like, all right, Shawn, now you've done it. So that will reset the clock, but not by a week. I'll add another week onto it. Be like, okay, Shawn, now you've made it 2 weeks. Now you gotta behave for 2 weeks, and then see if we can make it 2 weeks. And again, anytime you mess up, I'm gonna write it in the chat. This is another example, Shawn. Not cool. Add it to your do not do list if you want to be friends with Majik Mike again. And then if you mess up again, you get the idea. But once we get to a month, though, I'm not going to keep adding weeks beyond a month. So add another week, add another week, add another. But once we're at a month, we say, okay, Shawn, now you have a month to be good before I'll consider talking to you again, and you know, see if you can make it. But yeah, I mean, hopefully you appreciate what I'm doing, and you know, basically telling you the things that you've done that I don't like and didn't like, that really pissed me off to the point of not wanting to talk to you again. And hopefully you'll take it in stride and not get defensive about it, or try to make excuses about it, like you plainly did, you know, using the excuse of, oh, I'm just going through too much, oh, this and that, and you know, whatever. And again, that's not cool. That's not taking accountability by, again, trying to deflect on, oh, it's because of this that I'm this way. It's because of this problem. It's because of the trolls. It's because, no, that's not going to fly. So we need to work on that and just say, you know, for once, I think it would shock people if, let's say, you were the main cause of whatever problem and you didn't try to throw anyone else under the bus with, oh, well, I got miffed, they got miffed. No, if it's you, it's just you to at least for once, just say, you know what, I was the cause of all the drama today, and I apologize. I was wrong for da-da-da-da-da, right? Which reminds me of another point too that I kind of noticed or realized is, again, you get defensive when anybody tries to tell you how you made them feel. So, like, for example, one of the female members that you were hanging out with that said, yeah, Shawn, I felt scared. But then your response to that is like, well, there's no need to feel scared. I didn't mean to make you feel scared. Now nobody is accusing you of, oh, you were purposely trying to scare people. I mean, most smart people would know, okay, obviously he's not doing that. But again, not to minimize it by saying, oh, I wasn't trying to scare you. That, again, that's being defensive. That's like, oh, well, because I didn't mean that, you're the problem for taking it the wrong way. No. A person feels how they're going to feel. So the appropriate response would be, oh my gosh, I am so sorry for getting that angry to make you feel scared. I'll try not to do whatever it is I did to make you feel scared. To really own it, take responsibility for it, because obviously you care. Obviously, if you really were trying to scare them, you wouldn't care at all. And you would be like, oh yeah, I scared you good, didn't I? Oh, you haven't seen nothing yet. And obviously you don't have that malicious intent in you at all. And that I know. And again, another thing just to call you out on is how many, many times you go on and on about, oh my Lord, we can't go a whole week without any drama in the community. And the way you say that, though, that kind of implies that, but not me. I'm sweet, sweet, innocent Mr. Angel. That has nothing to do with that. That never causes the drama, never has, never will. When, most people will acknowledge most of the time you are one of the main causes for the very drama that you're saying, I wish we could all stop the drama, when most of it starts with you. Now, of course, it's not always you. Yes, there are other trolls and other players that are far worse than you, that like to give you hell, and it is just not right, or cause issues, or start rumors, or lie about you, whatever it is. So you're definitely not, at the top of the list, main player, worst person ever in all of the community and all of YouTube, not by a long shot. But you do share a great part of the responsibility. And there's been several other people, not just me, that have pointed out and said, Shawn, at least some of the time, is the common denominator in the drama. And that's true. And maybe the sooner you realize that, the sooner you can fix it. The sooner you can have a redemption. And that's the good news about, yes, admitting my temper is way worse than I would like to let on. I was minimizing it before with just, oh yeah, I have a bit of a temper. It would just be better to say, yeah, I have a huge temper that really gets me into trouble. And I take full responsibility for it, and to just fix it. And I'll also add and say this. Let's say you make it through, whether it takes you a week or a month, weeks later, doesn't matter. And, you get to that point of, surprising me and everybody, and go a whole week, without causing any issues that I can see. And we wind up talking again. I think it goes without saying, I'm going to say it right now, and why I'm making this video, so it's all on the record, if we do wind up talking again, and I do give you another chance, and we start hanging out, if you ever talk to me the way you talked to me the first time, then that's it. Then there was your second chance. You blew it. After that, there will be no, I'm taking a week off or a couple months off, whatever. It'll be for good forever. I don't care what you do or say after that. There'll be nothing you can say or do that's going to make me come back and be fooled a third time. Not that I would be fooled, but you get what I'm saying. Or if I call you out on something and you time me out, then it'll be done. Like that will automatically guarantee there will be no more weeks or months chance. That'll be it. It'll be forever, because that's a whole other subject. But in my opinion, I think timeouts are pretty gay. So yeah, if you either yell and curse at me in any way, call me a mother effer, say F you, say, any of those things, and or time me out, it's game over. But can you do it, Shawn? Can you go a week just a week, 7 days, without doing anything potentially infuriating. And that clock will start from the minute that this video publishes to the channel. So we'll see. The Shawn behaving for a week challenge has begun. Well, all right, folks. There you have it. I have spoken my piece, and pretty curious and anxious to see what is going to happen next. Only time will tell. Well, thanks everybody for enjoying me for this dramatic episode. I really hope you enjoyed. And if you did, then please consider subscribing to the channel for more videos like this one. And leave me some comments. Give it a thumbs up and share the video. You can also follow me on all of my other social media, as well as visit the HollywoodToyz online store. The links are in the description box below. So let me know in the comments, what do you think? Are you dealing with a troll? Or are you a troll dealing with a victim? How would you deal with a situation like this? What are your thoughts? Or are you a victim of being harassed and trolled and everything like that? Let me know in the comments below. But other than that, stay tuned for even more amazing HollywoodToyz videos right after this. And to everyone out there watching, this is Majik Mike, reminding you to live for your family and friends. Live your best life and live the movies. Take care.